Hello and welcome to teaser number 2 for Dragon Guardian Earth. This particular teaser is coming to you from chapter 4, and no spoilers or anything, just a little bit of fun, and I hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, here we go. 2 days later, in the throne room, Marin stood with her hands clasped loosely behind her back as she gazed up at the flag hung up. Hello, Tabitha. I have been blessed with a visit by my little old lady cat, Tabitha. Can you say hello? Hello. Oh, thank you for the head bump. Bump. Oh, don't fall off. She's a bit of a klutz. Anyway, how about I just start over, okay? Okay. 2 days later, in the throne room, Marin stood with her hands clasped loosely behind her back as she gazed up at the flag hung up on the wall behind the throne in a place of honor for all to see. Worn, bedraggled, and even sporting a large blood stain, the flag was out of place among the long tapestries that hung on either side of it, but Marin did not care. The flag was important to her. Priceless. It was the battle flag Navarre had bestowed upon her before she had retaken Meloria Castle, and it had been the first item Marin had hung upon her wall, her first mark, as it were. Many was the time Marin had found herself simply gazing at it during the rare moments of quiet afforded to her. It was her way of reminding herself just what was at stake. But there was more to it than that. It was also... Marin? Blinking herself out of her reverie, Marin turned to find Velius was standing beside her. "Yes?" she asked with a small smile. "Am I needed?" The ghost of a smile played over Velius's lips as he gazed down at the half-elf. "You are always needed," he murmured in reply, before clearing his throat. "But in this particular instance, your time is still your own." They fell into a comfortable and companionable silence after that, the two of them standing side by side as they gazed up at the flag. At length, it was Velius who spoke again. "Would you rather not have a new flag put in its place?" "Never, not in a million years," Marin replied. Velius turned his head and gazed down at Marin with an eyebrow raised in genuine curiosity. "Why not?" he asked. Because of what it represents," Marin answered, before turning her head and gazing up at her friend. "It's battered, bloodied, and worn, and has seen better days, much like Primordia and her people." She smiled sadly, even as she set her jaw defiantly. "But the fact that it still holds together, despite the odds and horrors it's seen, makes it a perfect representation of my people, the perfect representation of Primordia." Her hand found Velius's and gave it a squeeze. "The people of Primordia will never stop fighting, and that battered battle flag is proof of that." Velius smiled and gave a small nod of understanding while squeezing Marin's hand in return. "The flag stays," he said simply, before releasing Marin's hand. Marin smiled and then turned her head to gaze back at the flag while clasping her hands behind her back once more. "The flag stays," she whispered. She fell silent for a few moments before speaking again. "Thank you for understanding, Velius." Turning, Velius placed a hand upon Marin's shoulder and gently turned her to face him. "There's no need to thank me, Marin," he uttered softly. "You should know by now that my support of you is absolute." He cleared his throat and smirked cheekily. "Unless, of course, you purposefully place yourself in unnecessary danger." Marin grinned. "You mean like I always do?" she teased. "Yes," Velius replied with clear annoyance, even as his vibrant blue eyes glimmered with mild amusement. Marin's grin softened into a smile, and she reached up to place a hand atop Velius's after patting it fondly. "As I recall, you had my back even in those moments." And I always will, Velius replied fervently as he gazed down at his queen with a faint smile upon his lips. While I will not always agree with the haphazard way in which you tend to execute your plans, partial or fully formed, I will always have your back, Marin. I will always guard you and protect you with my life. Marin's smile grew a fraction of an inch. Thank you, Velius, she whispered, before taking her hand away. I will never turn you away, but I like to think that my growing powers would lessen the responsibility of your duties, she added while stepping away. There is no doubt that you are infinitely more formidable than you were the night of your birthday celebration in Silverstreet, Velius remarked as he recalled how terrified Marin had been and how close he and all of Primordia had come to losing her. You are a powerful force of nature indeed, Marin, but you do not have eyes in the back of your head. He winked playfully and turned to walk down the steps of the dais. At least, not that I've seen, he added cheekily over his shoulder. Oh, gods and creator, can you imagine? Marin asked with a laugh as she turned to follow her friend. Fortunately, it's only dragon wings I've got growing out of the back of me. Velius chuckled and gave Marin a sidelong glance. You never know, he said airily. You might be gifted with a tail upon joining your soul to the earth dragon. His chuckle became a full laugh when Marin's eyes widened in horror. Don't you dare say that, Marin replied with a grumble while giving Velius a playful shove with her wing. Don't be so quick to dismiss the idea, Velius teased with a grin. A tail would come in handy on the battlefield. He spun effortlessly out of the way when Marin attempted to swat him with her wing again. See, if you had a tail, you would have been able to get me, he remarked with a wink. Marin growled with mock menace before glaring and tapping the side of her head upon hearing laughter. Oi! 3 of you! Tell your brother not to get any ideas. I've had a hard enough time dressing myself and sleeping with my wings. Add a tail to the mix and I might as well just parade around in my all together and sleep from the rafters like a blat. She grumbled, not noticing Velius looking away to hide the fact that he was blushing to the tips of his ears. There will be no public parading about in your all together, Taliesin's voice replied with a chuckle as he approached the pair from the other side. Some things should be only for a wife and her husband, he added with a smile as he affectionately brushed his fingers over Marin's ear in greeting once he was close enough. And the wife's dragons, Marin quipped. Taliesin sighed. Yes, of course. Oh, don't pout, Marin soothed as she reached up and brushed her fingers over Taliesin's ear. It only happened once. Velius cleared his throat and tried to change the subject. I did, in fact, send word to the 4 kingdoms informing them of your newest power. I sent the messages out the day we learned of it, he said, once he had gotten his blush under control. Thank you, Velius, Marin said with a smile. How's it coming along, by the way? Velius asked. Marin's smile wavered just a bit. I'm getting the hang of it. Sort of. Now, Marin, you counted your little mishap well enough, Taliesin encouraged with a smile as the trio turned to leave the throne room. Which mishap? Velius asked. When you sneezed yesterday and all of the flowers released all of that pollen in the air? No, Marin replied sheepishly. Velius frowned in thought as he and Taliesin continued to walk with Marin between them. Was it the day before when you saw that big spider outside your room and accidentally barricaded all of the doors of the castle with vines? Marin blushed as they stepped into the outside world. No, and even if it was, you can't blame me for that. No one likes spiders. But darling, you've encountered and fought spiders bigger than the one you saw, Taliesin reminded gently. Yes, and my last encounter with them didn't end so well, Marin replied wryly. Forgive me for being a bit wary of them after that. And that is it for teaser number 2. Allow me to apologize for any banging and yowling that you heard while I was reading. That was Tabitha being Tabitha, for lack of a better explanation. She's crazy. Anyway, that's it for tonight, and there's going to be one more teaser coming at you. I haven't quite decided which day it's going to happen, but it will be before December 1st, which is release day for Dragon Guardian Earth. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you enjoyed this little teaser that I read to you, and I hope you have a great Thanksgiving if you celebrate the holiday. I don't think I'm going to upload the next teaser before Thanksgiving simply because prep work and all that. So yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, have a great holiday, and I will see you in my next teaser. Bye!